Sims Walker, knocked down.
Oh my God! Davis is going running all the way back. Auburn's going to win the football game.
In trouble. He's going to be sacked. No, gets away. He runs, gets away again, goes to the 40, gets away again.
Jackson takes it himself. Look at him dart back and forth. Oh! He broke his ankles.
I have never seen this before in my life.
Still looking. Firing. Near corner. It's caught!
Denver! Unbelievable!
And welcome to the fourth down fiasco.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Fourth Down Fiasco, your go-to podcast for all things football, brought to you by BetStamp. BetStamp is the sports bookie of all sports bookies. You can check them out at signupexpert.com/fiasco. Place a $10 bet and win yourself some money. They got BetMGM, Bet365, Caesars, all the big name sports bookies across the nation. So yeah, go check them out, signupexpert.com/fiasco. But with that, I am so excited to be back with my co-stars, the rising stars of the podcast industry, the dubious Daniel Weber and the totally terrific Tanner Vinsky. Hello, fellas. It's been 2 weeks.
It's been a while.
Yeah. I don't think in the history of this podcast we've ever missed a week, have we?
Nope. We hit 1 year and we said, screw it.
You know, Spotify numbers were down and we said, do we really want to deal with it? But
Christmas,
no,
New Year's.
Holidays are holidays. It happens. But, you know, the bigger base that we have on this podcast is during the ELF season anyways, which, Danny, you've been foaming at the bit to give this news if you would like.
What news?
Oh, my God. Season 2 of
That one.
The Fourth Down Fiasco will be premiering in April, basically once we start getting ready on this podcast to talk about the European League of Football. We will also be starting a new season here on Fourth Down Fiasco, which we're super excited about. Got a whole new rebrand coming y'all's way. Got some hot topics, hot discussions, new content, videos, pictures, interviews, the whole nine, baby. And also, we gonna be rocking our jerseys too? What? Crazy times. So yeah, that'll be in April. We will be kind of off and on in February and March. Probably only have a podcast or two over the course of those 2 months because our normal meeting time to record, we're actually going to be doing some content planning, make sure that we got some exciting shit for y'all. So with that, y'all, let's fourth down. It is goal to go. We're going to do something to try and get in. So fellas, with that, what play are we running, Tanner, to get that shit in?
We're trying to not lose our jobs just as much as all the people that lost their jobs. So we're going to talk about every single person that lost their job this weekend. Well,
that is a transitional. That is a great segue. Man, I'm rusty too. A great segue into Black Monday. A lot of people left.
Shannon Sharp said White Monday.
I don't know what he's talking about because Vrabel got let go of, and Vrabel might be the blackest man I've ever met. You know. If I had met him.
And Doug Peterson.
But so what are y'all's big takeaways from all the firings? I mean, we can go team by team, starting off with, Raiders fired Pierce, but are going to keep Telesco. What y'all think?
That's weird. It seems like a dumb... It feels like an equal move. It's like, okay, you fire one dude but not the other, so you can end up in kind of the same position.
Yeah, you didn't fire the bigger problem, to be quite honest. I mean, Pierce, not a great coach. Telesco, significantly worse GM, though.
Yeah, I think all the teams this offseason that didn't just full reset are really going to regret it and will probably fire that person next year anyways.
Yeah.
And it's just going to put them further back. I said it multiple times last year. I thought Antonio Pierce was the worst head coach in the NFL. And that was even with Doug Peterson shenanigans and all that stuff. Antonio Pierce was terrible. I don't think he really did anything well. He just fired that team up and had to do better when he was the interim head coach. So they decided, let's keep him around. I assume whoever they bring in to replace him is going to be able to do something. There's just nothing about the Raiders that really move me right now. I don't like much on their roster. I really only like Max Crosby and Brock Bowers. So I think even if you fire all of their pieces, they're still a couple years out from doing anything. They kind of need to hit on the Hail Mary on edge coach if they get one.
Tanner, you might want to check your
closer. You cut out the end.
Oh, they need to hit on a Hail Mary if they want to compete at all in the next few years, in my opinion.
Gotcha. Yeah, because you can't win a Super Bowl with just Brock Bowers, as great as he is, and who is the single-handed reason why I won in fantasy this year, baby. Shout out, Big Brock.
Hey, he has the most receptions in NFL history as a rookie.
That is nuts.
Any position.
He was so good this year.
He was.
I'm so glad that I picked him up, and I will continue to do so. Doug Peterson, Jacksonville Jaguars, was fired as well. 4-13 season. What y'all think?
Is Trevor Lawrence overrated?
I mean, at what point do we start to have the discussion that maybe he is a problem?
Don't talk about my Pookie Bear that way. I think Jacksonville's Jacksonville. Doug Peterson was terrible. This was definitely a move. I mean, it's going to be the discussion till the end of time, right? If Lawrence had a competent help around him, would he be a better quarterback? I lean yes. I don't think while you have Trent Baalke there employed as the GM, you're ever going to do anything as an organization with Jaguars. Trent Baalke is the main issue in Jacksonville. He's been a terrible GM. He's made terrible decisions the entire time. He drafted a developmental, high ceiling, low floor player in Trayvon Walker over Aiden Hutchinson was a surefire elite player. Horrible mismanagement there. I mean, imagine the Jacksonville defense with Aiden Hutchinson instead of Trayvon Walker. And it's like, yeah, maybe Trayvon Walker is really good in another 2 to 3 years, but we're still waiting. And that draft pick was 2 years ago, 3 years ago. It's ridiculous. I don't see Jacksonville ever really being a serious contender while Trent Baalke is employed. And unfortunately, that means that Trevor Lawrence is not going to ever really compete or be able to build a legacy for himself unless he gets out of Jacksonville. But he chose to take the bag, which, I mean, was smart in his department. But still, that's where the Jags are at right now.
I'm gonna pull a Chris Tucker here and say I ain't understand a single word you just said, but I liked it and you spoke passionately. Jaguars is trash and they're gonna remain trash, I think is what you were trying to get at.
Pretty much. Did I cut out the entire time?
It was a little rough.
Yeah, a little
every
rough.
once in a while.
It's okay though. Yeah, we're rusty. We're coming back now.
Forgive us. It's a new year. But
and then the last head coach that was fired, Jared Mayo, or is it Jared Mayo or Gerard Mayo? Danny?
I think it's just Jared Mayo.
Jared Mayo. Wait, is he black? Because if he's black, it's definitely Gerard.
Everyone's been calling him Jared.
No, that's Gerard. I'm sorry.
No, I think New England pulled the trigger too quick on this. They finished 4-13 last season. They finished 4-13 this season. Yeah, he won them a game that was pointless against Buffalo to make them lose the 1 seed, but they're the 4 seed now. It's like there's not many different players you could get from the 1 seed to the 4 seed or the 4 pick this year.
Regardless, Shedeur Sanders is not going to save your franchise. I'm sorry.
And they don't even need a quarterback. Like they have Drake May, who was solid. He was just dealt a crap hand and then fired for trying to deal with a crap hand.
Yeah.
It's like he didn't have a defense. He didn't have an offensive line. Like he just had nothing. And yeah, there was some dumb play calling that he had, but still, it was 1 year. You gave Bill Belichick how many years after Brady of horrible seasons after horrible seasons?
No, yeah. I mean, you're totally right with that. I think it's dumb for any team to fire a coach after 1 year in a rebuild year, like maybe if the year before the Pats were, 12-5 and had made the playoffs or something, and then Mayo comes in and they're 4-13 or whatever it is. But that's not the case. They sucked last year. You're in a rebuild. You're not going to be good the first year of your rebuild,
No, yeah. It's not possible.
And Drake May has struggled some, which he, to your point, Danny, belted bad hand. Terrible offensive line. Defense, on a good day.
He wasn't even throwing the ball to anyone. He had nobody.
Yeah, he had nobody. He has no good wide receiver talents. And yeah, it just was not. There's just not a good roster constructed right now, and that's not Mayo's fault. And so, I hope the best for him moving forward. I hope that wherever he does land, that he, has some success and can kind of give a middle finger to the city of Boston, because it's ridiculous that you fire your head coach after 1 year in a rebuild year,
who played for them in his career and then coached for them after his career and then became the head coach. And you're like, we'll give you a year after you dedicated your life to us.
Yeah, maybe if after this upcoming draft they got some really good prospects and stuff, and they still went 4-13, weren't even at least able to get another game or two.
Yeah,
maybe I could see that, but yeah, no, he got fired because they won that game.
Oh yeah, I believe you need 3 years to see if a rebuild will be successful or not. We've seen it in the last couple of years, in the last handful of years. Like the Eagles did it, Cincinnati did it. Who else did it? There's another team that was on my mind. The Lions did it. Look at them.
Yeah.
You need just a handful of years. You have to trust the process. It's not going to be overnight, especially with a shitty franchise.
Yeah, this isn't basketball where you can bring in one person and change everything in a season. That's not how football works. There's too many players on the field, too many coaches on the sidelines.
A lot of luck.
Everything's got to hit, and you've got to trust the process. And so don't like that move, but the other two firings, I understand. Also surprised to see that Mike McCarthy got to keep his job, but good for him, I guess. I guess. But I mean, are we wanting to? I think there was also was there an OC or a DC that got fired as well? Oh, was it y'all's DC?
Our DC, linebacker coach, D-line coach, and offensive line coach all got fired.
I agree with every single one of those. I think that is if there was ever a perfect slate of firings, that would be a perfect slate of firings.
Yeah, and what's crazy is Lou Anarumo, like 4 years ago, was hailed as like the best DC at the time because he was shutting down Patrick Mahomes, he was shutting down Josh Allen, and now he's given up 45 points a game.
Yeah.
That also goes back to our GM, Duke Tobin, who's absolute garbage, and our one scout. I found that out this year. The Bengals have one scout on their scouting department.
That's archaic.
Yeah.
Recently got an indoor practice facility, so that's kind of just how the Bengals roll.
You got to do what you got to do. Priorities, right?
True.
But we're talking about firing some people who are going to get fired here soon. As many of y'all know, the drama going on with Skip Bayless, Joy Taylor. Y'all know the situation a lot better than I do. So one of y'all is more than allowed to explain, because I think you'll do a better job than I will of the situation.
If Tanner's mic is working, he knows more about the situation than both of us.
Well, let's have you start, Danny, and let me
see. Now you sound fine.
Oh, do I sound better now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, perfect. We'll let it rip and hope it'll be good for the rest of the time. I mean, the allegations are pretty insane, just coming from a major sports network. Joy Taylor apparently was sleeping with most of the people inside the F1 studio, and then was using that to blackmail each other to ensure that she could continue to keep getting positions. which is pretty scummy. But I think the bigger allegations really come from how Skip Bayless looks outside of everything that happened. Skip Bayless just being as down bad as a human being could possibly be, just really trying to get with this one hairdresser, offer to pay, was it $1.5 million to sleep with her?
Something like that.
Something ridiculous, yeah.
Number.
I mean, 1.5 million is a lot of money.
Bro, at that point, take that money to Amsterdam and go to the red light district or something, bro. I'm sure you can find a doppelganger out there.
Apparently Skip didn't think he could. He really wanted to be with his hairdresser, and
that's
some racist remarks on top of that. I won't repeat them. But
that's so weird.
He said some things like that. I feel like Skip has been in a bunch of controversy for the last couple of years at
He's
this
been
point.
On the decline for sure.
So I don't know how Skip continues to be a commentator. I'm assuming this is where he's done.
And the thing is, everyone hates him. Like, how does he still get his own show after his own show? Like, all I see on social media is just how bad Skip Bayless is. It's like, if he has a job that can just speak nonsense and just complete utterless garbage takes, why aren't we on Fox Sports?
Great question.
If he has his own show, why don't we?
Look,
we can do the exact same thing.
You don't have to worry about me ever offering $1.5 million. I'll tell you that. Oh goodness, what was that, Tanner?
I think he was moving his mic.
Okay,
but no, throw us. You don't have to pay us millions. Like, just give us like 100, 200, 300 grand, 1,000 grand a piece, and we'll
run me my money, F1, FS1, run me my money. Because I'm not gonna spend it on no hairdresser. I can tell you that.
People like us more than what you currently have.
Yeah, it's I do want to talk about both. I think that the Joy Taylor stuff, to Tanner's point, yes, is scummy. I think that if Tanner,
did I do something? What did I do?
You're loud as hell now. Okay.
Okay. I fixed something.
You did. You sound better.
Yeah, you did.
Refresh.
But with the Joy Taylor stuff, I think that if it were simply just her sleeping with the producers, it would have just been who gives a shit, because there are so many scummy things that guys do in order to, especially in TV, in order to get to the top, all kinds of lying and bribery and ass kissing that who cares? Girl, use your assets, if you know what I'm saying. Get out there and go secure the bag. But what bothers me specifically is her threatening to make fake rape allegations just in a world where women are so undervalued and unheard when it comes to those kinds of things, because there are women out there like Joy Taylor who are making fake rape allegations. And so that kind of stuff just boils my blood of you're doing such a disservice to women around the world, not just in America, but around the world, because you're threatening with these fake rape allegations that aren't true, because you are sleeping your way to the top, which again, don't care about that part. It's the part where you're damning other women to be viewed the same as you. And so I struggle with that. And then the Skip Bayless stuff, man, that is the comments that he made were horrendous. Absolutely. Again, yeah, we're not repeating those on air. And 1.5 to sleep with a woman who's not your wife because you're married, Skip. You've been married, Skip. FS1 is in shambles. Oh, and we can't fail to mention also in the same breath as the Joy Taylor stuff, the men that she's sleeping with. Emmanuel Acho, my brother in Christ, be out here condemning people for doing all kinds of, non-Christianly things. And brother, you are throwing stones in a glass house. And also all the producers, are you that simple? Is it that easy for me to rise up in the ranks? All I got to do is just slide you some mushu, as they say in Rush Hour. It just got to slide you some Mushu, and now I can be the number one person on FS1. That's all I got to do. Where's it at? That's my rant. I'm sorry.
It's crazy. And not even just like these allegations, but like with Fox Sports as a whole, they're just going down. Like NASCAR, their whole NASCAR rights just left them. So they lost a big portion of all the American racing industry is now gone. Now all of this, it's like, how long is Fox Sports going to be around?
Well, and Fox Sports has also, within the past half decade, lost all their rights to the NBA as well, to Bally Sports, which is the most egregious broadcasting program in the country.
Bally Sports now bankrupt.
Yes.
MLB also, they lost MLB rights as well, and they went to Bally Sports.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So Fox Sports is going through it, man.
They got NFL, and that's really about it.
And who knows how long that lasts, just given – because I can tell you right now, based on like Shannon Sharp's relationship with Skip and, him talking about how hurt he was, with all of this stuff going on, he's probably going to leave. That's your headline name right there. That is the biggest name at FS1, not named Skip Bayless.
Yeah.
And
you got Dan Orlovsky. Don't knock him.
Dude, Dan Orlovsky is a piss poor excuse for a journalist and is only in this world because he has the name Dan Orlovsky.
Hey, he did pull one out on Shannon Sharp the other day. Shannon Sharp asked the question, what can you name the other wide receiver that won the Triple Crown and did not make it to the playoffs? And he didn't even let Dan answer. And he said, yeah, me either. It happened to be Shannon Sharp's brother. Yeah. And Dan did know the answer. That was hysterical.
But I'm still going to say that Shannon Sharp is the bigger celebrity between him and Dan Orlovsky.
Oh, no, yeah. Definitely.
Oh, yeah.
That's not a debate. Just saying they have Dan Orlovsky as well.
So, yeah, Shannon going to be gone. Colin Cowherd, he was already famous before FS1 and was famous on the radio pre-FS1.
He'll be fine. Yeah, he'll go anywhere else.
Yeah. He's his own independent entity. So, yeah, Fox is about to crash and burn. At least
I wouldn't be surprised if ESPN and Disney just kind of be like, hey, NFL, we'll take over some Sunday games now.
I would.
We have Monday, we have Saturday. Might as well give us some Sunday games.
Dog, if TNT is always known for doing basketball, dog. If I'm TNT, brother, I'm pulling up, letting them know, hey, look, I'm going to make some time for you, baby.
Yeah.
Crazy times we live in.
It'll be interesting to see what happens to Fox Sports this year.
Yeah. It'll also be interesting to know what happens in this NFL season's playoffs. Did you like that segue? I know you did. So yeah, we have the playoff bracket set in stone. Detroit, Kansas City, both getting their first round byes. We can start in the NFC. We'll start with Philly, Green Bay, since that's the 2-7 game.
I don't want to ruin your perfect segue, but did Tanner have any final words on the whole Fox Sports?
No.
You can't, bro. You gotta just roll with it.
He started it, and then he didn't even we didn't let him talk.
Sorry.
Hey, my internet and my microphone didn't let me talk. All right, wasn't y'all.
I just wanted to make sure. I know Tanner has a lot of opinions on stuff, so I just want to. I like his opinions.
Well, Tanner, what is your opinion? What is your opinion on Green Bay, Philly? See, Danny, that's how you do it.
Green Bay, Philly. I think Philly's going to roll Green Bay. Green Bay is not a team that I'm out on. I still think they're pretty good, but Philly's just got the better defense. They have the better offense. They have I don't know. I just don't really see how Green Bay can keep up with Philly in a head-to-head. So I would pick Philly here pretty comfortably,
especially with Christian Watson out. Was it him or their other wide receiver who tore his ACL last week?
Oh shit,
I think it was Watson.
Right.
Watson.
Yeah, I think so.
So they're down there. I guess they're wide receiver 1 or 2 or whatever he's listed as.
Yeah, and Philly's just. They've been consistent all season. They didn't fall into the trap that they fell into last year where they, fell off the rails at the end. They're still looking good. Yeah. Saquon is
looking
doing
good.
Saquon-like things like we've never seen, quite honestly. And I think that they're going to make it to the NFC Championship game. I don't know if they're going to make it to the Super Bowl per se, but
I feel like their biggest challenge in the divisional would be the Rams. So if they end up playing the Rams, that should be a really good game.
See, I think it's Detroit. I think that Detroit's offense is just so high-powered that even as good as Philly's offense is, they've got some shady guys in that secondary that I think Detroit's just going to steamroll.
Well, I'm just saying for the second round. They can't play the Detroit in the second round.
Right.
Yeah, but their only hiccup to get to the championship game, as I would say, is the Rams. I would say another team fighting the Philadelphia Eagles.
They wouldn't face the Rams. They would face one of either Washington or Tampa Bay.
It'd be the second lowest seed, so if Washington or the Vikings won, then they would.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, the bracket just gets reseeded every...
Okay, so it's not like the NBA bracket where it's like set in stone.
No. So, the Lions will play the lowest remaining seed.
Gotcha. Okay. So we're all in agreement. Philly over Green Bay?
Yeah, definitely. Cool.
Lock it. Hey, real quick, shout out our sponsor, BetStamp. You can check them out at signupexpert.com/fiasco. Place that $10 bet. Go ahead. Put it on Philadelphia. And if you lose, it ain't our fault. But if you win, share that money with your favorite people. What does that take us to? Washington, Tampa Bay, right? Yeah, the 3-6 game.
That should be a fun game because both of these teams have had very high highs and very low lows.
Mm-hmm. It really just matters what version of the team you're going to get. What version of Baker Mayfield are we going to get? Are we going to get God tier Baker? Because then if that's the case, I don't think Washington's going to win. No. But if we get low tier Baker, Washington probably ekes that one out.
It's that looking at these matchups on at least that side, it should be the best matchup, which is funny that it's a 3 and a 6.
I mean, in all fairness, Washington should be the 3 and Tampa should be the 6, but the whole divisional thing makes it fun.
No, yeah.
I'm going to go with Tampa Bay, not because I'm a Washington hater, even though I am. I just playing the odds game. I just don't see two NFC East teams playing each other in the second round. And I think that Philly is the clear cut going to go to the next round.
Yeah. Tanner?
I give Bucks advantage at home. I think Tampa playing at home. I honestly like Tampa a little bit more than Washington. Washington's still young. They don't really have playoff experience. The Buccaneers have been in the playoffs a couple of times before. Todd Bowles has been, Todd Bowles has been there. Jeez.
Two cities? My bad.
All right. Hey, calm down. This is not FS1, y'all. We don't need any sexual harassment allegations.
Oh, Skip Bayless.
God damn.
You're saying Tanner.
Yeah, no, I trust Tampa's playoff experience. I trust them at home. I believe in Baker a little bit more at this stage of Baker and Jaden's career. Jaden's still young. I think he's prone to make mistakes just because he's a rookie. Mm-hmm. And that's no flame to him. He's had an electric year, but I mean, he's just a rookie going to a playoff environment for the first time. And I think Tampa's honestly, they're a sneakily tough playoff opponent. They have knocked off opponents better than them in the past. I trust that.
Phenomenal crowd.
They have a phenomenal crowd. I trust that offense. I think Tampa wins this one.
I agree with Tanner. Tanner and I have the same thoughts of when it comes to playoff. And if you're close between two teams, it's going to be playoff experience and just experience overall. And the Washington Commanders have a very young team. And Baker has a playoff win, which is weird.
Yes.
I mean, Mike Evans has a ring.
Yeah. I mean, they're an experienced team with an experienced head coach. So playing at home with all that, you have to kind of lean towards Tampa Bay.
Yep. I think Baker actually has 2 playoff wins because he has the one against the Steelers, and I think he won one in Tampa, right?
Did he?
I believe so.
Then Baker has multiple playoff wins?
God.
I am looking
Dak
it up right
only
now.
has 2 playoff wins.
If Baker has more playoff wins than Lamar Jackson,
wait, does Lamar only have 1?
I think he might have 2.
I was gonna say, it felt low. Tanner, while you're looking that up,
Baker's 2-2. He
2-2?
he has won 2 games and has lost 2
He
games.
has a better record than Lamar Jackson in the playoffs.
He has a better record than Dak Prescott too.
Bro, Lamar Jackson is 2-4.
Yeah, because they beat the Eagles that year in the divisional round, and then they lost to the Buccaneers.
Yep.
That takes us to real quick, any last thoughts about Washington, Tampa for Danny's sake before I go to the next one?
Baker's going to have a better playoff percentage than Lamar Jackson after this playoffs.
Baker Mayfield's about to have a better playoff percentage than like half of people's favorite quarterbacks. And it's going to be really upsetting.
It's a hot take. At this stage, where quarterbacks are at, I think Baker's a top 10 quarterback.
I think this year. I don't barely fringe, but yeah, I could see it.
I think he's there.
Top 10 and not number 9, 8765431.
Well,
top 10's top 10.
Top 10.
No matter where you fall on the list, you're on the list.
Yeah.
2 guys who are also fringe top 10 quarterbacks, which is going to be really weird to say that about Sam Darnold. Minnesota at Los Angeles. This will be a good one.
I know the Vikings finished 11-4 or whatever it is, 12-4.
No, the Vikings won 14 games, brother.
I thought
the Vikings won 14-3. They didn't win 11 games.
No, yeah, never mind. Yeah,
the Vikings have the most
14-3
in a singular season of franchise history, which is.
But amazing. I don't think they're going to beat the Rams.
It's funny because I'm with you. And it's not. I think that Minnesota is the better team, top to bottom. I think that they are the better team, truly. But every time we see Minnesota do good, they choke worse in the playoffs than the Cowboys do. I'll leave it at that.
It might be the same, but yeah.
It's a 1A, 1B situation for sure.
No, they do.
But if there is a team in the NFL who chokes worse in the playoffs than anyone else, it's Minnesota. And a lot of times it's just bad luck. But I just, the universe is speaking and it has spoken, and the Rams are going to win.
Yeah, and the Lions kind of showed last week how to shut down Sam Darnold. They ran man on 66% of plays last week. And on that, Sam Darnold was like 4 of 12 or something like that.
I think Sam Darnold he had 18 passes to 42 attempts, or he had 18 completions to 42 pass attempts. He had a terrible game last week.
Yeah, and they ran man over half the time, which is something Sam Darnold does not see a lot.
And LA has a good enough defense that they can play man.
Yeah, and their offense is not just as good as the Vikings, but very close.
Is their wide receiver room fully healthy now, the Rams?
They have been.
I thought we were still waiting on one of the two. So they have both.
That's why they're on this tear. Like they were 2-4 at one point.
Yeah, things were looking pretty abysmal for them at one point. But
they were.
If they got Cooper Kupp and my boy Puka, it's wraps.
Yeah. So the finish with 10 wins after being like 2-4 or whatever is crazy.
Yeah,
I'm with you, Jordan. Minnesota is the better team top to bottom. When it comes to the playoffs, I have to ask myself, who do I trust more to manufacture drives and win? Between Matt Stafford and Sam Darnold, I'm going to go with Matt Stafford, right?
Yep.
And
I'm going to go with the guy who has the Super Bowl ring.
Exactly. And it sucks to say for Minnesota because I do think they're better than a first-round exit. Like, I think Minnesota could have realistically gone to a championship game, but I think as long as the Rams blitz Sam Darnold, get some pressure on him, and Matt Stafford plays the way he's capable of playing, I just don't see Minnesota being able to play from behind. Minnesota, if they get a lead, they're going to win this game, no problem. But if they fall behind at any point, I don't trust Minnesota to be able to come back against Matt Stafford. And that's really what it comes down to. So it sucks, especially winning 14 games and looking like world beaters the entire time. But I think they're a one and done this year.
Yeah. That's such a weird sentence you said before the season started. If you had to choose between Matthew Stafford or Sam Darnold to win you games in the playoffs, people would look at you like you're crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would laugh in your face and be like, the fuck you mean?
There's
one choice.
Sam, what is the Vikings are winning 4 games this year and they happen to only lose.
Dude, we all said that, right? Before the season started, we're like, Vikings are like a 4 to 6 win team at best. And
yeah, we really need to find that clip and go back because some of our takes were pretty bad.
Okay, in our defense, though, it was a weird year in the NFL.
No, it was a very
I'm
weird
sorry, but Minnesota winning a franchise high 14 games in a season with Sam Darnold as a quarterback. Like, whoever put that bet down at BetStamp made a lot of money.
Yeah. But we should apologize to Jordan Edel because we did shit on the Broncos and say they were going to win 4 games. And now they're in the playoffs.
Hey, I said that they would be. I said decent. They ended up being
like 6 wins.
No, I said that they could be a fringe playoff, and I swore up and down on Bo Nix because I remember I swore up and down on Bo Nix.
I've been a Bo Nix supporter from the beginning. Bo Nix was one of my highest rated quarterbacks coming out of the draft.
I said on this pod that Bo Nix was the best quarterback coming out. And what was he this year? The best quarterback to have come out.
No, he wasn't. No.
Jaden Daniels' run it's fake. It is fake.
I'm gonna tell you right now. If I was a team, I'd rather have Drake May over Bo Nix.
I do want to see Drake May on a better team.
I want to see him on a better team.
I am telling you right now, if you switch if you switch those 2 quarterbacks, you switch their teams, you put Bo Nix on the Patriots and you put Drake May on Denver, I think Denver looks mostly the same with a little bit more upside, and I think the Patriots are unwatchable. Genuinely. There is so much manufactured for Bo Nix by Sean Payton in Denver. Now, I'm not saying that Bo Nix is some terrible quarterback, but I've said it before. Bo Nix's absolute ceiling is like Andy Dalton. That is his absolute ceiling as a quarterback. Drake May's ceiling is much higher than that.
What is Drake May right now?
What is his absolute ceiling?
Yeah.
I mean, Drake May's got a cannon. I mean, Drake May's ceiling is like Justin Herbert.
Bo Nix Tanner, you were making.
No, he doesn't. No.
Bo Nix does not have the arm Drake May has. He underthrew.
I'm saying that he has the same arm
so many times.
I have seen him sling that thing. Okay,
but have you seen how inaccurate he is downfield? That's a huge issue.
Wilson throw the ball 80 yards? Yeah, me too.
So he's got some kinks in his footwork that he needs to address.
Bo Nix is actually 43 years old. That's the issue.
He's 24.
Same thing. As a rookie, might as well be, right?
Yeah.
That's the issue. Drake May is young. He has a lot to develop, and it was on a terrible team, and he looked good. Bo Nix has looked at best above average.
He has been very accurate. I'll give him that. His accuracy
on a better team, and he's older.
I am looking up some Bo Nix stats right now.
The stats aren't gonna. The issue is what I'm saying is Bo Nix has a lot of his offense manufactured for him. Bo Nix is in a very similar situation that Brock Purdy and Tua have been for the last few years, where they are able to excel and operate an offense that is catered to them, which isn't a big deal if you're a franchise. That's great that you can get the most out of your players, right? But I'm just saying, if I were a GM on a blank slate team, I am not taking Bo Nix over. Honestly, like 20 quarterbacks in the league. I think there are 20 quarterbacks I would rather have than Bo Nix.
That is ridiculous. If you exclude his first 2 games where he threw no touchdowns and 4 interceptions, if you exclude those 2 games, we're talking about a guy who has gone 29-8. I don't care what you say about manufacturing. That brother can sling. Okay. And y'all gonna find out too, because the Broncos gonna come to town and do some stupid shit. Actually, no, never mind. They're playing the Bills. I just realized.
No, they're
that.
not.
No.
Josh Allen's a man on a mission. That's never mind.
The quarterback talent in the league is deeper than it's ever been. There are actually, if I were to go down the list of quarterbacks, I can get you to say you would prefer 20 quarterbacks over Bo Nix.
There's only like 6 teams that really need a quarterback this offseason.
Look, all I'm saying is Denver was unwatchable last year, and this year they are in the playoffs.
Because Russell Wilson didn't have a full playbook last year.
So, and hey, I'll give this to Bo Nix. I'll give this to Bo Nix. I would rather take Bo Nix over Russell Wilson as a QB.
That's fair.
Straight up.
Fair enough.
I'd like to see Bo Nix on the Steelers. It'd be interesting.
Yeah, they would still suck.
Yeah. Do we want to stay in the NFC and just kind of work our way to the Super Bowl and then be like, all right, this is who we're saying?
Might as well. It'll probably be easier for us to track that way.
Yeah.
Okay, so then we'll exclude Denver Buffalo talk, even though we just talked.
No, I know. Yeah.
That's 2 minutes.
So we all picked the same 3 on the NFC.
Yeah. So our potential matchups for round 2 would be LA Rams, Detroit, and then Eagles,
Bucks.
Tampa.
Yeah. So Eagles, Bucks.
You want me to start?
Let's
go for it, Tanner.
Because I'm feeling a little devious on this one. I think the Bucks. I think the Bucks would beat Philly, straight up. And I know that's crazy because of how good the Eagles have been. Nick Sirianni's a fraud. He sucks as being a head coach. I don't trust him for shit. I think he can beat up the Green Bay Packers, who had barely snuck in, had struggles this year, are going to be down a wide receiver in the playoffs. Trust me, there is a mentality difference between Jalen Hurts and Baker Mayfield, in my opinion. Jalen Hurts has to have a lot going his way for him to have a good game. Just completely honest. Like, the run game has to be perfect. Like, his receivers have to ball out. Baker Mayfield is a playoff elevator. I don't think Jalen Hurts is a playoff elevator. Jalen Hurts' game doesn't elevate to the playoffs. He doesn't get better. He plays mostly the same, and in more times than not, he plays worse. Baker picks up a notch in the playoffs. And I think the Bucks are going to be able to do well on offense. And I think as long as their defense is able to contain the Eagles to a couple of possessions, because here's the thing. It was the same thing I said about Minnesota. If they fall behind, they're not coming back. They're not catching back up. With how run heavy the Eagles are, if like the Bucks offense is firing and they get ahead and they have the momentum and Jalen Hurts makes a stupid mistake, the Eagles are screwed. They can't get back in the game. And I just trust the Buccaneers coaching staff. I trust their quarterback more. And, I think they have a sneakily good offense. And I don't, even though Philly's more talented, I don't think it matters in that scenario.
Well, and also you mentioning, mentality wise, Baker being more of a dog, if we're just being completely honest, than Jalen Hurts. Baker knows that his, one of his 2 playoff wins was against the Eagles. We
do know. The Eagles hated it so much that they just kicked Jordan out. He has just disappeared. But
he got sent to the shadow realm.
The Eagles, Nick Sirianni said no. But no, I do like the Buccaneers as well. Like, I don't like Jalen Hurts in the playoffs. Yeah, he's been to the Super Bowl, but I don't know. I just like the Buccaneers team over the Eagles team as well. Nick Sirianni said no to you, Jordan. But welcome back.
What part did I cut out at?
Something about one of the 2 wins is against the Eagles.
Oh, yeah. Basically, that was the point Baker knows that one of his 2 playoff wins has come against the Eagles, and he's the type of guy that'd be like, all right, let me do it again.
He will. He will plant that flag right in the middle of a turf field.
Oh, dude, I feel like Philly is a very dangerous place to be planting flags, but I hope he does.
Yeah,
I hope
he will need a police escort out of Philadelphia if he wins.
Correct. He will need Secret Service on his ass for sure.
Yeah. Do you care if we pick this up a little bit?
No, yeah, I know you have a quick end time. So
Rams,
next on
Lions.
that bracket would be what? Not Minnesota. LA Rams at Detroit.
Yeah, I think this will be easy. It'll be a fun game. It'll be another return game for Matthew Stafford, but Lions, they're just rolling.
Yeah.
I
mean, it's Super Bowl or bust for Detroit.
Oh, yeah. And I have them going to the Super Bowl in the NFC. Jamar Gibbs without David Montgomery is a different breed.
Yeah.
Like, he has been unleashed.
And here's the thing, too, is like the way we're picking our bracket to go, if it's going to be Lions Bucks, the Lions are absolutely going to the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Yeah. But okay. So since we're speeding up for
championship round.
Yeah. So let's kick it over to the AFC. Then.
So we all have the Lions going to the Super Bowl out of the NFC.
Yes, 1,000%.
Yeah, it's Super Bowl or bust.
Super Bowl or bust for Detroit, for sure.
Now we can go to your Buffalo Broncos game.
Well, I was feeling good about the whole Bo Nix thing until I saw that he was going up against the guy who has been the best quarterback in the NFL this year, Josh Allen. So,
yeah, the 7 seed is kind of a sacrificial lamb.
Yeah, poor buddy. I really
welcome to the NFL.
I think against every other team on this in the first round of playoffs, if Denver were to face them, they'd at least have a shot. They have no shot against Buffalo.
Yeah.
Josh Allen for the first half of the season was winning on the power of friendship alone. Yeah. And ever since he married or got engaged to Haley Steinfeld, that brother been acting different. He said, I am Miles Morales. I am the blackest man in New England right now. Okay. So yeah, no, Bo getting crushed. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Buffalo all day. Those fans are going to be wild.
Yeah. Yeah.
Tanner,
you heard my Bo Nix take. You know where you know where I'm going. It's going to be Buffalo.
Okay, that's
and I don't think it's going to be close either. I think it's going to be a blowout.
Yeah, it's going to be an ass whooping. Belt to ass.
I agree with Jordan though. If they did play, I wouldn't say against the AFC North. They did lose to the Steelers earlier this year, but against like the Chargers or the Texans, I could see them pulling out a win.
I agree.
I think even against Pittsburgh, they could.
Yeah, they could.
I agree.
AFC North matchup for the third time this year. Ravens, Steelers. Tanner.
Yeah, Tanner, why don't you tell us about this? How are we feeling?
How do you feel about George Pickens?
We put up 17
against Cincinnati.
17 points against one of the league's worst defenses.
The worst defense.
After you dropped 45 on us before, but that's a whole different story.
We couldn't do shit. It was terrible. It was I can't believe it. I cannot believe this fucking dog shit, fucking dog water ass team with fucking George Pickens throwing tantrums everywhere. And the worst part is we could beat Baltimore. We could. We play Baltimore all the time. We play Lamar Jackson well, but everybody's got to get their head out of their ass. And I don't think that's possible. I don't think Mike Tomlin's bought in. I don't think Russell Wilson's bought in. George Pickens sure as fuck isn't bought in.
Dude,
nobody's bought in. TJ Watt's not even playing well. He sat out most of last game with some sort of phantom injury, and it's like, well, what do we even have? What are we even good at?
There has to be like a stipulation in Mike Tomlin's contract that says once he gets above 500, he has to quit.
It's ridiculous, dude.
Coach.
No, dude, we just had to beat the Bengals, and if we beat the Bengals, we would be the 5 seed, and we'd be coasting to a playoff victory against Houston, because Houston genuinely is probably the worst playoff team in both conferences. They're just not good this year. And we would absolutely beat Houston, and that would have been perfect because I haven't watched my goddamn team win a playoff game since I was in high school.
I've watched my team in a Super Bowl before you've watched your team win a playoff who has 6 Super Bowl wins.
It's fucking ridiculous. We haven't won. I was 18, dude. I was in high school. It's ridiculous. I hadn't even been accepted into college yet.
Yeah, I didn't even know you yet.
Yeah, we didn't even know each other last time I watched my team win a playoff game. And we could have had one this year, and that would have been perfect for me. I would have just been happy. But now we have to go play Baltimore in Baltimore.
At least we can all be depressed on this season, you know?
I mean, in my opinion, like honestly, the two things I'm hoping for out of this game is either we finally get a playoff win, and if we don't get that playoff win, I hope we get blown the fuck out. I hope we lose like 60-0, because then that would wake the organization up and be like, we need to change something. And by the way, done with Russ. I was right. All wrap around. You know, I said I'd rather have Mason Rudolph than Russ. Look how bad Russ has been these last 4 weeks. You know, he tricked us. You know, he tricked us.
I'm just saying, Justin Fields had a great start to the season.
That's what I'm saying too. That's I honestly, if I were Tomlin, I'd be starting Justin Fields in the playoffs.
You know, because it's about winning. It's about winning. Yeah, I'm going Baltimore on that one. Especially if they're playing Russ, I'm going Baltimore on that one.
Yeah, I'm going Baltimore. Tanner, you never officially said who you're picking.
I mean, I am praying that somehow the Ravens blow it, because that is a win. You know, I don't care if that means we are mediocre for the next 5 seasons afterwards. We stop Baltimore from getting a chance at the Super Bowl, so that's awesome. But we're losing. All
right. So we have Baltimore, Buffalo in the divisional round, but before that, Texans, Chargers, and we know Tanner's opinion on the Texans this year.
So you're picking the Chargers then to win.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I like the way they're playing. Dobbins is back?
I believe.
If Dobbins is back, yeah, they're a good team. This game, I like the Chargers. They're a good team against the Texans. Not a good team against anyone else remaining.
I think that specifically in this one playoff game, CJ Stroud is going to be like last year CJ Stroud, and he's going to come out, he's going to be locked in, he's going to whoop some ass, and then they're going to play Kansas City the game after, and he's going to do the thing that he's done all season where he thinks he's God's gift to quarterbacking, and then he's going to suck, and it's going to be really funny to watch that play out.
I really like the Chargers defense this year. They are one of the better defenses this year. I think they're only averaging like 20 points a game given up or something like that, if that.
That's not what I said.
So I think the Chargers defense will give CJ Stroud some struggles, especially if they can't get the run game going, which they have struggled to do recently.
I think if Houston was healthy, they could win this game. But I think no Stephon Diggs, no Tank Dell. I mean, that's tough for CJ Stroud to really make that work with that level of weapons he's got against a staunch Chargers defense.
Yeah.
So
fair.
It's I like Houston. Like I really do. I really want to root for CJ Stroud. I want him to do well, but I just think this is a bad year for Houston. Like they fell off. They had injury bugs. They really snuck into here, you know.
Luckily they're in the AFC South.
But you know, our golden rule here is the quarterback with more wins. And has Herbert ever done any? He is a playoff like plummeter. I'm just saying.
Jim Harbaugh has won a national championship.
And this is the NFL. Nobody gives a shit.
Well, Jim Harbaugh has been to a Super Bowl.
Fair. All right. Well, it doesn't matter anyways, because whoever wins that game has to play Kansas City in round 2 and is going to lose. Can we all agree on that one?
So,
Daniel.
And I do not like the Chiefs this year. And I say if, there are no random phantom penalties like the announcers were calling last. If this game is called fairly.
It's a big if, brother.
Yes. If this game is called fairly, I believe the Chiefs or the Chargers will beat the Chiefs. The Chiefs have been a coin flip away from being 3-14 this year.
And yet here they are preparing to three-peat.
I know. But you both know, everyone knows, I've been a firm believer of the NFL being all about whatever they do to make the most money. They're not going to have the Chiefs lose in the divisional round. No. They'd lose so much money.
Absolutely not. Yeah, Chiefs are winning. I'm sorry.
If this is an ELF team where money isn't involved and it's the Chargers-Chiefs, I'm taking Chargers. The Chiefs are frauds being 15-1. I don't like Patrick Mahomes this year. Travis Kelce has 2 touchdowns on the year, hasn't done jack. Their defense is It's not as good as the Chargers defense. But we all saw what week was that? Week 16 or whatever, when every third down play the Chiefs had, even the announcers started pointing out, being like, oh, wait for the flag. There it is. So, big if the game is called fairly, I take the Chargers, but it most likely will not be, so I guess I have to take the Chiefs.
I'm taking the Chiefs.
I take the Chiefs comfortably, to be honest. Everybody has spelled the doom for the Chiefs. They did last year. They're doing it this year. I don't think they're a fraudulent 15-1, to be honest. I mean, they went 16-1. You know, my fault. They went 15-2 because they lost to the backups.
They rolled over and gave up any sort of hope in the week 18.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, now's where the Chiefs actually start taking themselves seriously, which is the scary part. And I'm not picking against them when they have the organization to back it up with and how they've done in the past. Like, I don't want to like get my hopes up, right? Like, I know it's not going to happen.
We've come to learn on this pod, never bet against Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs.
That's very true. And so Baltimore-Buffalo.
Baltimore-Buffalo.
I'm taking Buffalo. They just look good.
I was just gonna say, I mean, Josh has just been so good this year. And it's been one of those seasons where, like, it just feels like he can't do anything wrong almost. We've seen plenty of years where he throws up gaudy numbers, but then, he's got, a pair of games where he threw 3 picks against a divisional opponent or something like that. And you're like, typical Josh, turnover machine, whatever. And it's just like, he really hasn't been like that this year.
They have 8 total turnovers as a team.
That's disgusting.
Yeah.
And wow. I'm going to go Buffalo on that, especially if Buffalo scores first too, and you're really forcing Lamar to throw more and run less. Yeah.
Tanner?
I'm going to give another hot take. I think Baltimore's going to win this one.
Ooh, scary hours.
I just think just like you guys said, but the inverse. I mean, with the running potential this team has, I mean, if Baltimore scores early and they can run down the Bills' throat with Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson, I don't see the Bills being able to stop it. I mean, the Ravens won pretty handily against the Bills already this year, and the Bills have arguably one of the weakest defenses in the entire playoff bracket.
Fair.
So I think if Baltimore can just get even just like 1 or 2 stops on Josh Allen, and as long as Lamar Jackson plays the way that he's proven he can play in the regular season and the playoffs, which we haven't seen, which is fair, but if he can, I like Baltimore more in this matchup. And it's crazy to say, but I've seen the Bills choke playoff games before too. Like.
Fair.
We've seen both teams choke playoff games, but I agree with your point of whoever scores first. Like, if they can control the time possession, they're going to win.
Yeah. So then that would take us to, regardless, do you think either team is going to beat Kansas City to go to the Super Bowl?
I think Buffalo gets over the hump, but that's also just me. I just don't want to see Kansas City in the Super Bowl. That's the only reason.
Dog, a Detroit-Buffalo Super Bowl would feed families.
Yeah, I just want a Detroit-Buffalo Super Bowl.
There'd also be a lot of Canadians in attendance.
Yeah, that's the only thing I care about is a Detroit-Buffalo Super Bowl. I just don't want Kansas City in it.
Unfortunately,
that's my reasoning. No other reasoning, just that.
Yeah, I lean with you, Jordan. I don't want to see it, but I think Kansas City is going to be in the Super Bowl again this year.
Yeah. So
I agree, but I don't want it. I don't want to say it.
Then don't. Be different. So then that way, because I feel like we're always such yes men on this pod, until we start talking about Bo next.
I got a Buffalo-Detroit Super Bowl. I'm going Detroit to take over Buffalo.
I would, if that were the matchup, I'd say yes to that.
I would agree too.
All right, so you guys have Kansas City, Detroit.
And I think Kansas City is going to win it somehow, some way, even though Detroit on paper is 1,000% the better team. 1,050 bajillion% the better team. Kansas City's going to win that.
I'm in the same boat, and the only deciding factor for me is, do I trust Jared Goff in the Super Bowl, or do I trust Patrick Mahomes? And that's it.
Dang it.
That's it. You know.
And I'm going to go with, the NFL script has already been written.
Travis Kelce's proposing. They were just a year early.
Well, it's even more special after a three-peat,
Yeah, because it's never been done. Yeah, the three-peat's going to happen this year. The NFL Golden Boy, Pat Mahomes, is going to be hoisted and is going to be basically the surefire number 2 in the GOAT debate, and very quickly closing in on Tom after that one. And yeah, Travis Kelce's going to get engaged to Taylor Swift on the field. It's going to be crazy. And
Sweet, the Chiefs three-peat. What a way.
Woohoo. Any final comments on our very sad playoff bracket?
No.
In a perfect world, Bo Nix is the Super Bowl MVP. All right. So with that, thank y'all so much for listening. We appreciate your time. It's been great to be back, y'all. It's been Danny, Tanner, and Jordan saying so long. And check out our sponsor, BetStamp. Again, that's signupexpert.com/fiasco. And you can follow us on social media as well. We're at 4thdown_pod on Twitter and at 4thdownfiasco on Instagram and TikTok. Thanks, y'all.
Well, I like school, and I like football, and I'm going to keep doing them both because they make me feel good.